Signs of a toxic relationship. Signs of toxicity can be subtle or highly obvious. When you are in a toxic relationship, you might not always find it easy to notice the red flags popping up. Now, the signs of a toxic relationship include 1. Lack of support. Healthy relationships are based on mutual desire to see each other succeed in all areas of life. But when things turn toxic, every achievement becomes competition. In short, the time you spend together no longer feels positive. You don't feel supported or encouraged, and you can't trust them to show up for you. You might even get the impression that you don't matter. 2. Toxic communication. Instead of kindness and mutual respect, most of your conversations are filled with sarcasm or criticism fueled by contempt. 3. Envy or jealousy. When it's perfectly fine to experience a little envy from time to time, Caraballo explains it can become an issue if your envy keeps you from thinking positively about your partner's successes. Same goes for jealousy. Yes, it's a perfectly natural human emotion, but when it leads to constant suspicion and mistrust, it can quickly begin to erode your relationship. 4. Controlling behaviors. Does your partner ask where you are all the time? And maybe become annoyed or irritated when you don't immediately answer the text? Or even text you again and again until you do? Those behaviors might stem from jealousy and lack of trust, but they can also suggest a need for control, both of which can contribute to relationship toxicity. Resentment. Holding on to grudges and letting them fester chips away at intimacy. Over time, frustration or resentment can build up and make a smaller chasm much bigger. Note that whether you tend to nurse these grievances quietly because you don't feel safe speaking up when something bothers you, or if you can't trust your partner to listen to your concerns, your relationship could be toxic. 6. Dishonesty. You find yourself constantly making up lies about your whereabouts. Now, whether that's because you want to avoid spending time with your partner, or you worry how they'll react if you tell them the truth, that's toxic. 7. Patterns of disrespect. Being chronically late, casually forgetting events, and other behaviors that show disrespect for your time are a red flag. Though sometimes some people may truly struggle with making and keeping plans on time, it may help if you start with a conversation about this behavior. If it's not intentional, you might notice some improvement after you explain why it bothers you. 8. Constant stress. Ordinarily, life challenges like family members' illness, job loss, can create some tension in your relationship, of course. But finding yourself constantly on edge, even when you aren't facing stress from outside sources, is a key indicator that something is off. This ongoing stress can take a toll on physical and mental health, and you might frequently feel miserable, mentally and physically exhausted, or generally unwell. 9. Ignoring your needs. Going along with whatever your partner wants to do, even when it goes against your wishes or comfort level, is a sure sign of toxicity. You end up not pointing things out or giving your ideas since you don't want to start a fight. 10. Lost relationships. This is whereby you've stopped spending time with your friends and family, either to avoid conflict with your partner or to get around having to explain what's happening in your relationship. Alternatively, you might find that dealing with your partner or worrying about your relationship occupies much of your free time. 11. Lack of self-care. In a toxic relationship, you might let go of your usual self-care habits, says Lawson. You might withdraw from hobbies you once loved, neglect your health, and sacrifice your free time. This might be because you don't have time for these activities or because your partner disapproves when you do your own thing. 12. Hoping for change. You might stay in the relationship because you remember how much fun you had in the beginning. Maybe you think that if you just change yourself and your actions, they'll change as well. 13. Walking on eggshells. You worry that by bringing up problems, you'll provoke extreme tension. So you become conflict avoidant and keep any issues to yourself. All that is toxic. Leave.